Hi, welcome to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Mariandrea and I'm in my kitchen today. I am doing the reader's profile tag. My notes are this way, so I'm looking over here at my notes. And I was tagged by Melinda at a Web of Stories, and the original creator of this tag is Hilary from Book Bustle. So Hilary created this tag as an alternative to the BookTube newbie tag. And I really liked this tag. Melinda tagged me a few weeks ago, and it's taken me a while to narrow down all my answers because these are some really fun questions. Hilary likes to record videos while she's doing stuff around the house. And so, in the spirit of her videos and how this tag was delivered, I wanted to mimic that a bit and maybe step a little bit outside of my comfort zone and film in my kitchen doing something just like she did, how she shared her tag with us. So thank you, Melinda, for tagging me, and thank you, Hilary, for creating this tag. Let's get started. So today I am making a vegan macaroni salad, and this is for my lunch tomorrow. I have already cooked the pasta. Have it in here. I used the banza chickpea pasta. Sorry. And question number one. Let's get started with the tag. Question number one: what makes a good book? So for me, a good book is a book that connects with the senses and gives you a sensory experience. Books that um, books that connect with the reader in a way that they experience the book more than just rote reading, like a book that has really evocative prose that maybe if it's a winter scene, you feel like you can see the wintry scene. If it's a summer book, it gives you that feeling of like heat and outdoors and, things that are summer feelings, summer vibes. It also maybe connects with memory. So it evokes a feeling that then brings about a memory or creates a memory. So, for example, I've had books that I've been reading and I can remember what I was doing when I was reading that book. There are sometimes audiobooks that I'll listen to, and sometimes when I go past a certain landmark, I think, oh, I was there when I was listening to this audiobook, and it was about this. So I think a really good book makes you feel something or creates a memory, like links your senses to a memory that you've created with that book. I have some steamed veggies here, so I'm going to give them a quick rinse to cool them down. Question number 2. What are you currently reading? I am currently reading Homegoing by Ya Jessie. I'm like a couple of chapters from finishing it. I've been taking my time with it, and this is a book that I've been buddy reading with Chatty. She's finished it. I'm just taking it slowly. I'm reading How to Be Eaten by Maria Adelman, and this is for my In Real Life book club with friends. I'm reading Field Notes by Sarah Bessey. I think it's Field Notes for the Wilderness by Sarah Bessey, and this is a book that is like a guide to faith and spirituality. And I'm also reading, those are the 3 that I have going strong. I finished Death Comes for the Archbishop by Willa Cather, but I'm still kind of annotating through it. Those are pretty much it for now. Next question is, what's the last book you didn't finish and why? I talked about this in a video that I just recently posted, and that was a book that I got. It's a self-help book in Spanish. It's called Encuentra tu persona vitamina. I didn't finish it because it was a self-help book that felt like it was not for me and not for the time. It was about lot about parenting and parent-child relationships. I didn't really feel up for that. I talk more about it in my video, so if you want to know a little bit more about why I DNF'd it, you can check out the video. But I don't really have anything more that I want to say about it. The next question is, what obscure book do you wish other people would read? So I haven't read this book, but it's on my nightstand and I've been meaning to read it. It's called Night Vision by Mariana Alessandri. Mariana Alessandri is a philosopher, and she writes this book about emotions that are not popular in pop culture. Like, in the sense that when you feel these emotions, they're stigmatized in a negative way, so that people are shamed or guilted when they feel these emotions. So emotions like sadness, depression, anxiety, fear. So she writes from a philosophical lens about what philosophers have written about these kinds of emotions and how to break from the shame of these that's tied to these emotions and start to like reframe them and accept them and work through them, not try to eliminate them, but try to embrace them and kind of live through them and understand that those emotions are a part of living. It's not a self-help book, it is a philosophy book. So it's taking these emotions and researching them and then talking about how these emotions are discussed through philosophy by philosophers. It's a great, I mean, I've skimmed it and I've heard her talk about the book. So I think it's a great book and I can't wait to read it. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I think she's a great writer. I know she's a great writer because she's one of my favorite writers. I follow her from her magazine, like writing. She writes for Womankind and New Philosopher, I think. Is the name of the magazine that's now tied to Womankind? So I love her columns, her articles in the magazines, and I look forward to them. Okay, next question is the longest book you've read. Okay, so put some mayo in here and tell you about the longest book I've read. I had to do a page count, so I jotted down the books that I thought were pretty long, that I may have, that I may be the longest books I read. So I have, these are the books I wrote down, and I'll tell you the pages. I have East of Eden, Anna Karenina, It, and Lonesome Dove. East of Eden has 855 pages. Anna Karenina was 790 pages. Lonesome Dove was 964 pages. And It was 1,181 pages. So It is the winner of being the longest book I've ever read. Yay for Stephen King. The next question is, ooh, this is a fun one. If you could have a dinner party with 5 fictional characters, who would they be? This is what my salad is starting to look like. Okay, so I thought about this and put some mustard in my salad because I love mustard. So I thought about the kinds of people I would want, or like just try to think of a theme. At first I thought like, ooh, it would be cool to invite like my favorite sidekicks. And I thought about, oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. I'm blanking out. Ben, what's the name of the sidekick in The Hobbit? No, The Lord of the Rings? Samwise. Never mind. Samwise. Why did I blank out? I thought about him, but then I couldn't really come up with all five of the sidekicks that I would want. So I just made a mess with the mustard. So I went with fantasy. I went with magic. I want a magical dinner party, like unexpected and surprising. So I went with I decided, okay, we would meet in Ecuador, right, where Orquídea Divina lives as a ceiba tree, and we would meet under the ceiba tree. So that would be our location, and she would be there in tree form. And then I would invite Tita from como agua para chocolate, like water for chocolate, and have her be a contributor to preparing the meal. And Tita, as you know, her magical power is that she just transmits her emotions into the food. So I would hope she would be in a good mood, and she would make some really good food that would make us all feel good. And then I'm inviting Mom. I don't know her name, but she's referred to as Mom in the short story The Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu. I read it recently the other day because I was remembering like magical characters that I've loved. And I want to have Mom be a part of this. And I think I would have her I would ask her to please make like the origami animals, and they would be flying around. I can imagine like dragons, and maybe hang some fun lanterns and just have these dragons flying and tigers and just sweet animals just bouncing all over the place as she does. And then I would invite Agnes from Hamnet to be there, and just as someone who is a healer, a woman who is a naturalist. She might have some really nice ideas for a cozy herbal tea that we could have after dinner. Um, and yeah, I would love to have her. And then I also, and this might be kind of a risk, but I would want Cersei there. I would want Cersei to bring just her strength and fortitude to the dinner party, and just be like a strong female presence in the midst. So those are the dinner party guests. Okay. Hi, so I'm in editing mode now, and I've finished my salad, put it in the fridge, cleaned up my kitchen, and when I was doing the cleanup, I realized I I want to do a redo of the question, the 5 books you'd want with you on if you were stranded on a desert island. So my answer to that in editing mode is Eat the Weeds by Deanne Johnson. No, Eat the Weeds by Deanne Jordan. The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wolben. I actually own this book and I've been meaning to read it. Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. That's 3. 4 would be the Ray Bradbury collection, like the biggest omnibus of all the Ray Bradbury books and short stories, all of them. And 5 would be the whole series of Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, because Violet is my hero. And I want to channel her vibe on a desert island. So those are my answers to the 5 books I would want with me on a desert island. On with the video and the editing. Thanks. Question is 1 book you could not put down. The salad needs some more veggies. Okay, so the last book I read that I could not put down is The Symphony of Secrets by Brendan Slocum. I've said in the previous video that when I was reading this book, I was driving to my local grocery store, and I totally missed the street where I was supposed to turn to go to the grocery store, and just kept driving for about like a quarter or a half a mile until I realized that I kind of snapped out of it and was like, where am I going? I was so immersed in the novel. It got to the point as well where it was like late at night, and I had to like text Melinda, who was my buddy reading partner for that book, and let her know, like, I have to tell someone that I need to put this book down, because otherwise I'm going to stay with it all night, and I don't. Excuse me. And I don't want to pull an all-nighter. So, Symphony of Secrets by Brendan Slocum. Next question. 5 books or authors you will never read. Well, I don't like to say never. I'm one kind of reader that says never say never. I won't say no to a book. I don't know. I don't ever want to say I'm never going to read that book, because I don't know. I'll tell you books that I'm not as keen to read. Like, I'm not interested in any book that feels very, very hyped. I don't like to read a book that is terribly hyped, because oftentimes it doesn't meet my expectations because it's been so hyped. So if a book has a lot of hype to it and everybody's reading it and talking about it, I'll probably wait until it dies down a bit and then read it, so that I'm not disappointed. Like my expectations are calibrated. So books that are really, really popular and zeitgeisty, I oftentimes am not like inspired to read them. So yeah. Just adding some celery for some crunch. And next question is, if you were to write a book, what would it be about? I write poems that I've never thought about publishing. Hey there, Abby. So I don't know. I don't think I would publish a book of poetry, but I do have a collection of poems. I have read poetry at like open mics, but it's been a really long time since I've done that. At this point in time, I don't feel like I have anything that I feel compelled to share in regards to poetry. I have been interested in writing a cookbook, so I'm just chopping this celery without rhyme or reason. So yeah, I have been contemplating the idea of writing a cookbook, a vegan cookbook. And so I thought, like, well, that would be cool. Maybe like do like food and poetry, and like write poems about my favorite foods, my favorite vegetables and fruits. That might be fun. That could be fun. So I would consider that. I also like nature, so I like to be in nature. For me, being in nature is like a spiritual practice. So I feel like I'm very contemplative when I'm in nature, and I might be interested in writing about that. I had pre-washed my bell pepper. Um, so nature writing could be one. And then I haven't shared this here on BookTube yet, but I am interested in going back to school to study Spanish translation, and I would love to transition to a career where I'm translating literature to Spanish. And like my dream novel, like a novel that I would love, a dream come true if I could translate this novel, like, is Crow Mary by Kathleen Grissom. I read that book last year in the fall for the historical fiction readathon. It was a 5-star read. I loved it. I felt like I immediately was like, I want to translate this book. And I was already thinking about going back to school to do literary translation, Spanish, particularly Spanish language literary translation. And definitely felt like more excited to do that after I read that book, thinking that I would think that would be a dream come true. I heard something go off, but I hope I haven't missed anything. And so then that's it. Now it's asking me to tag someone, and my salad is almost done. I just need the herbs. I am going to tag. I'm going to tag the last two people who commented on my last video, and that's going to be Annie at Obscure Book Adventures and Ellen. Let me see. Ellen. Ellen made book club. So I'm tagging Annie and Ellen. Annie from Obscure Book Adventures and Ellen from Ellen Made Book Club. So that's it for this tag. I will be finishing this up with some dill and a little bit of onion. But thanks for watching, and we'll talk soon. Hasta la próxima.